And while precious metals and Bitcoin are rising to new all-time highs this year alongside risk assets like stocks. And this comes as the US dollar is on track for its worst year since 1973, signaling a generational macroeconomic shift back in 1973. The dollar's devaluation came after the collapse of the Bretton Woods system under US President Nixon. This year, central banks have shored up their gold holdings to nearly a quarter of their reserves at the cost of the dollar. Take a look at our next report for more on this.
The illusion of the traditional prosperity measures is breaking. Wall Street stocks are up 40% with over a $20 trillion rally since April lows. AI stocks have been the biggest winners. Gold is trading at new all-time highs, up nearly 50% this year for its best year since 1979. Silver has surged to a record high, up nearly 70% so far in 2025. Bitcoin hit a fresh peak of above $125,000 over the weekend, with $130,000 bets rising. But this is not a reflection of solid global economic growth. It is a flight from fiat currencies, especially the dollar under Trump's second term. The Federal Reserve is cutting rates into inflation, calling it a need-of-the-hour policy. The uncertainty from Trump policies and the ongoing US government shutdown is weighing on the dollar. The US currency is down 10% this year and is on track for its worst year since 1973. The dollar has lost 40% of its purchasing power since the 2000s. That is reflected in central banks' shift away from the dollar to gold in their foreign exchange reserves. Worries over inflation, deteriorating US fiscal health, Federal Reserve independence, and geopolitical instability are raising questions about the stability of long-term treasuries, traditionally the world's safest asset. In response, many central banks are turning back to that barbarous relic, gold. The fortunes of gold and government bonds have diverged sharply this year. That split was highlighted earlier last month. The price of bullion struck a new high and many long-dated bond yields hit levels not seen in years or in some cases ever. US Treasuries have essentially been treading water in global reserve portfolios in recent years. At the same time, central banks' gold holdings have mushroomed, thanks to accelerating demand and soaring prices. Gold has recently surpassed the euro to become the second largest global reserve asset after the US dollar. For the first time since 1996, gold represents a bigger share of central banks' reserves than treasuries. Bitcoin has joined gold in the de-dollarization trend this year. The OG token surged to a new record high of above $125,000 over the weekend. Bitcoin is now the seventh largest asset with a market value of $2.5 trillion. The crypto token's allure is now driven by the macroeconomic factors, including the US government shutdown last week. The government shutdown began on Wednesday. That closed down operations at regulatory agencies and bureaucracies entirely or forced them to operate on a bare bones budget and minimal staff. The political dysfunction stemming from the shutdown has renewed investor interest in Bitcoin. The OG token is now considered a store of value monetary technology as faith in traditional institutions falters. The move away from fiat is not just a trend anymore, it is the new reality. Business Bureau, WION World is One.